So you are saying we're becoming this new species, even.
Yes, yes.
Through the opening of the heart, really. Through living in the place of love, unconditional love, which is not even exactly the kind of love that most of us know.
Yes, this is exactly what we have to learn, because we have to recognize that all of us are cells in the same body. If you terrorize a single cell in your body, then you're terrorizing yourself. And we have to start recognizing that you and I and we are all this one thing. And if we become self-destructive in the outer world, the complementarity occurs in the inner world. That's why most of our illnesses today are autoimmune, self-destructive illnesses. We're destroying each other on the outside. We're destroying ourselves on the inside. Same vibration.
Yeah.
Same vibration.
I've interviewed recently Dr. Wayne Dyer in Maui,
Yes.
that has received healing from John of God over in Brazil. Miraculous healing. I've interviewed numbers of people that went through near-death experiences. Just absolutely astonishing. 24-hour turnaround, miraculous. How do you explain that?
Because every cell, as I describe in the biology of belief, that cell membrane, that skin, is actually the equivalent of a programmable computer chip. And the nucleus with the genes is like a hard drive with programs in it. Mm-hmm. We used to think that the gene programs are like read-only memory. So whatever the gene is, that's what you are. But the new science of epigenetics says that the cell is like a computer chip and the nucleus is read-write, meaning I can change the output of my hard drive by my response to the environment. Okay, so this becomes a new understanding about if we change our belief system, we change the chemistry in our body, and it's the chemicals that are the switches for our genes, okay? So basically what it really comes down to is that the cell is programmable, and it's programmed by our beliefs. And it's the same as a computer. You can type on the surface, the little receptors that I talked about, those antennas that are sticking up on the surface, they're like keys on a keyboard. Each receptor responds to a different signal. And when we send different signals, we type on the surface of the cell. As fast as you can type on the surface of the cell, you can change the genetic readout, just like writing. You have a program on your desktop. You start typing into that. You can change the program. We can do the cells are programmable. And they're programmed by our perceptions. The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body. So this is where the whole secret of the control of the cells comes down to. And it's very simple, actually. I'll just take 2 minutes to explain it because it's like,
Yeah.
What was the experiment that changed my life back in 1967? I cloned stem cells. Meaning I took one stem cell, put it in a petri dish all by itself, and then every 10 hours it divides. So first there's one stem cell, then there's 2 and 4 and 8, 16, 32, and every 10 hours it's doubling. So after about 2 weeks, I got thousands of cells in the petri dish, and they're all genetically identical because they came from the same parent. Now I split the cells up into 3 different petri dishes, so genetically identical cells in 3 dishes. But I changed the chemical environment, the growth medium. The chemistry, I just changed it a little bit. And so in one dish, the cells form muscle, and in another dish with a different chemistry, they form bone, and in a third dish with a different chemistry, they form fat cells. So I say, wait, what controls the fate of the cells? And the answer is not the genetics, because they were all genetically the same. So the only thing that was different was the environment, the growth medium. So I go, oh, cool, if I change the chemistry of the growth medium, I control the behavior and genetics. I go, yeah. Now I go, well, that's in a plastic petri dish. And a simple point, if I take my plastic petri dish of cells, move it from a good environment and put it into a bad environment, the cells will get sick. And then you would say, oh, what drug should I give the cell? And I go, no, don't give the cell any drugs. Just take the dish from the bad environment, move it back in the good environment, and immediately it'll get well again. The cells reflect the environment. So I go, I go, well, what about humans? I go, now here's the joke. A human is a community of 50 trillion cells. A human is a skin-covered petri dish. I got 50 trillion cells in my dish. Whether it's a skin dish or a plastic dish, it's still whatever the growth medium is that controls the fate of the cells. If I take my plastic dish from a good environment to a bad environment, the cells get sick. I say, you want to make them well? No drugs. Move them back to the good environment. I say, my skin-covered Petri dish. Me. I move me from the good environment to a bad environment. You say, oh, sick. I go, you want to make them well? Yeah. Move them back to the good environment. No drugs. That's all. The cells. So the blood in your body is the culture medium. And I feed 50 trillion cells with this blood. And this has all the chemistry. And I go, what controls the chemistry? Because the chemistry of the culture medium determines the cell's fate. I go, the brain. The brain releases chemicals into the blood based on my perceptions. So if I see someone I love, I release wonderful chemicals in my body like dopamine and oxytocin, pleasure and bonding chemicals. I release growth hormone and serotonin. These are chemicals that give healthy responses to the cells. That's why when you fall in love in that honeymoon response, first thing is you're usually extremely healthy. Why? Because the chemicals released into your blood from a love vision are chemicals of nurturing and support for the cells and health, and you grow beautifully and you get lots of energy. But if I open my eyes and look around and I'm afraid of the world, I release stress hormones. Well, they're completely different chemistry than love hormones. In stress hormones, I shut down the system to protect myself. The more stress I perceive, the more I shut myself down. The deeper I get away from the world, blocking it off. And the fact is, yeah, but growth is based on communicating with the world, taking things in and exchanging with the world. And protection is based on closing it off. Protection. I go, well, you can't be in growth and protection at the same time. One is open, one's closed. And it's like, that's the issue. I change the chemistry with my thoughts. As fast as I change the chemistry, the culture medium, my blood, the chemistry affects the genetics and the behavior. So you can have a spontaneous remission just by changing the belief system and change the chemistry.
But in the case of, let's say, an induced one or an experience that kind of happened to us, not that there's such a thing apparently, but that we're it's kind of coming to us. It's not something that we worked on.
I didn't understand that, Lilu. I mean,
because I've been in contact. I've interviewed some doctors that do some induced after-death communication. Or near-death experiences like that. So so it seems like it's an immediate change of thought. I mean, it's an immediate and very quick and fast happening there.
Spontaneous evolution, spontaneous remission is by definition spontaneous.
Yeah.
How fast? How fast can you change the program on your computer?
Yeah.
How fast can you type in a new belief system and change it? And
as little as you will resist.
As fast as you can change your thought is how fast you change your biology. And so it's like giving power back to say, look, what's happening in your body is not an accident. What's happening in your body is being programmed. There's a director up here who's reading the world, interpreting the world, sending chemicals to the body, and the chemicals are converted into biology. You want to change your biology, change the way you see the world, and the chemistry will change immediately. That's how you could be thinking the world is hell, and then you meet this wonderful person, fall head over heels in love. One day the world is hell, the next day it's heaven. How fast is that? The answer is how fast you change your perception.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well,
it's great.
Such an awesome conversation, very juicy, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting because after years and years of perceiving ourselves as victims of the world and victims of things that are out of our control, the truth is coming around that we are so powerful that we can change our biology and genetics the moment we just change our thoughts. We can change the world around us from the hell that we believe in to the heaven we desire. Mm-hmm. And if you do that and rewrite your subconscious programs, then you have a whole new life on this planet, completely different. And so it's like, we don't have to wait 1,000 years for evolution. Evolution can happen this afternoon. It's a matter of how much and how fast you want to change your belief system. But the first thing is this. We are not victims of anything more than our belief. You change that belief, you change the world we live in. And you know what? Thousands of years of prophets and seers and ancient, wisdom providers have all said exactly the same thing. But now it's coming into the world of science. And when it becomes in the world of science, then it becomes public domain. Except it's interesting because the science I'm talking about is more in the academic ivory tower than it is in the conventional world. And the reason is this: the media is not really supporting this new evolutionary belief, because it undermines the corporate entities that have taken advantage of that belief. By controlling our beliefs, we buy what they say, we do what they do, we create the war when they say create the war. It's like, yeah, of course the media doesn't want you to know how powerful you are, because then you create your life. And that's what this evolution is all about.
Yeah, thank God for the internet. So that we can share all this information. I'm excited you're off to Amsterdam right now.
What's happening right? That broke up a little bit, Lilo.
You're off to Amsterdam right now, and then Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, this afternoon off to Amsterdam, and then London and Paris, and then Italy. So I'm very excited because a lot of action's going on in Europe right now.
Yes, Europe is really bubbling up. I can tell you this. I'm in France right now, and it's a real need here to give this information out. And thank you for all your powerful, great work. That's very inspiring and unleashing a lot of our potential.
I appreciate this opportunity, and thanks for letting me get some words out to the public, because this is a very exciting time. It could be scary if you don't understand the science, but when you become aware of the science, it is the most empowering time for humans ever on this planet to take back the power of who we really are.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.